Dogecoin is out of control. Graham Stephan just made a video on this, and there's some really important things that he left out that I want to make sure you know. So Dogecoin started out as a joke. You guys know this because look at that beautiful Shiba Inu. It started out as a joke, and that's why it actually gained so much popularity. It was relatable. It was fun. It wasn't scary like crypto had this negative connotation to it. Is it one Doge to rule them all? Or, well, we're going to find out. What I'm going to share in this video are some really important things that are missing from other creators. They haven't talked about this. And really, the most important thing, the biggest risk is kind of getting completely left out here, and it's not what you think. So we're going to talk about what can drive the price higher and what the biggest risk is for Dogecoin as an investment. So if you're thinking about getting in on the Doge and buying some Dogecoin, please watch this video until the end. So let's start off with some of the things that can drive the price of Dogecoin higher. And then we're going to talk about some of the major downsides and the biggest issue with Dogecoin. You might be thinking, okay, I know what the biggest issue is, right? It's that there's no cap to the supply of coins, and thus the coin can inflate infinitely, which means, hey, if there's so much more supply, then that lowers the price of the coin. This is not what I'm talking about. In fact, this actually might be an upside, and a lot of people don't realize this might be an upside because it goes against the real actual issue. So Graham bought $1,000 worth of Dogecoin, and if he held on to it, it would have been worth $80,000, but he sold it before then. I almost bought $10,000 worth of Dogecoin, and if I pulled that trigger at that time, it would have been worth around $500,000. So I think I have him beat in the biggest mess up of Dogecoin. No one can time the market. That's true with crypto as well. Before we get into this, let me ask you one favor. Okay, I'm not going to ask you to go check out my Webull or my courses or Patreon. Just click like on this video and consider subscribing. This way we can get more financial info and knowledge in front of more people so they can make better educated decisions about their wealth. That's why I'm here. I'm so passionate about this stuff, and let's get to it. So the first thing is valuation. For valuation to make any sense, you have to understand that valuation is based on this thing called market cap. A lot of people don't realize this, right? This is what really matters with any stock or with crypto or any asset. It doesn't matter the price of the coin or the share. What matters is the actual market cap. That's what determines the value of what you're actually getting. So as an example, Tesla could split 100 times tomorrow, and each share would be worth $7. That doesn't mean it's a better buy because now there's 100 times more shares. So your ownership percentage for a single share is 100 times lower than it was before. So the market cap is what matters, not the actual number. So it's impossible for Dogecoin to ever be worth $59,939 like Bitcoin. It's actually physically impossible. I don't think there's enough money in the world to make that happen if everyone invested 100% of the money into Dogecoin. So the reason is because of market cap. That's what is the constraint. So at 30 cents at this time, that's a market cap of 37 billion with a B. That's still incredibly high. We had a market cap closer to 70 billion, and now we had a pullback, right, with the price being at around 30 cents. But that 37 billion is a lot. Let me kind of put this into perspective for you. So 37 billion, if we look at the S&P 500, these are some of the biggest companies, the 500 biggest companies on the US exchange. And on the right here is the market cap in billions. So this is $33 billion. So let's try to go to a company that you might recognize. So maybe Aflac, right, which Warren Buffett owns, 32 billion market share. Or let's go to Yum Brands. So Y-U-M, Yum Brands. Yum Brands has a 31 billion market share. So 31 billion market share, Dogecoin is at 37 billion. So you can get Yum Brands for cheaper than Dogecoin. What is Yum Brands? Well, Yum Brands operates the brands of KFC, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, The Habit Burger, Wing Street, except in China, where those are operated by Yum China. So by buying Yum, you are essentially, you can take the same amount of money and you can own the same percentage of Yum, KFC, Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, all together, the same percentage as the same amount of money that could get you the same percentage of Dogecoin. So you can own 1% of Dogecoin or 1% of Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and these companies for the same price. So that is pretty insane. Now, Dogecoin is different than a stock, right? Because Dogecoin is the valuation doesn't really make sense. How do you value this? Honestly, the biggest value is this face right here. So this is based on supply and demand. That's what creates value in the stock market too. But there aren't fundamentals with Dogecoin, right? So there aren't typical advantages. There's no improved technology. There's no amazing leader. There's no team, product. There's nothing to validate really the price. It's just based on interest. And in most cases, this is hype from retail investors, right? So there are a few things that can drive the price higher. So for one, it's Elon, right? When Elon does a tweet, the price goes up. Here is Elon's tweet. This was a famous Spanish artist, and basically the title is Dog Barking at the Moon. And of course, Elon's tweet is Doge barking at the moon. Tweets like this from Elon, as one of the richest people in the world with 315,000 likes on a post, that builds up hype, right? So you probably know about that. In Graham Stephan's video about Dogecoin getting out of control, he mentions something called kind of like the self-fulfilling prophecy, right? As the price goes higher, the more exposure it gets on social media and outlets, and also brands love it. So brands are going to start leveraging it. And I don't think they have to pay any royalties or things like that as a brand, when you would have to pay a royalty if you're going to get, say, The Rock to be the face of something. Hey, they're saying Dogecoin is more popular than The Rock or Kim Kardashian or Justin Bieber. Let's just put Doge on our products. And so that's what Slim Jim did. And so Graham mentioned this. I want to talk about the really new and important stuff, but this is self-fulfilling because brands can do this for free. They can get a lot of publicity, and the more brands that do it, the more publicity and the higher the price will go. But something that's deeper than this, but kind of feeds off of this idea, which is why I wanted to mention it, is a really powerful effect. And what that is the network effect. So with the network effect, kind of the best way to traditionally think about this is with telephones. Now, the network effect is this thing where a company might have this effect that the more people that use the network, well, the stronger the network becomes exponentially. So exponentially, things get more valuable for each user. And it's one of the strongest economic moats that a system can have against competitors. And this is really the only economic moat because the technology is the same across most cryptos. But here we have an economic moat because the more people that use it, the more valuable it will be, and the more people will want to share it on social media to increase the price, because guess what? They have it as well. So a telephone, the value of only having 2 telephones in the world is not a lot of value, right? One guy can call the next guy. But if you have 5 telephones, look at all the possibilities. If you have more than that, look at what happens. Exponentially, the value increases. What if Tesla accepts Doge? Increases, right? Because now people can buy it, people can sell it, there's more places you can use it, and there's more publicity, right? So think about YouTube, right? Why are most of the YouTubers talking about Tesla stock or Dogecoin or Bitcoin? It's often because they own it, and it's not to pump up the price. Well, you know, maybe that motivates them to create more content, but it gets more exciting. More people want to talk about it. And right now, the biggest issue is not this. It's great that more people are using it. This might spur more adoption. The biggest issue right now for, let's say, companies to really adopt this and get to that real network effect level is going to be the volatility. And if enough people hold this that has stability, the hodlers, that will increase the actual network effect because more people will be able to start accepting it. Tesla can't accept it for a $50,000 car, and then all of a sudden the price drops in half, and instead of them making a 25% margin on the cars like they do, instead they lose 25%. That's not gonna be good business. So if big institutions started holding this like they're holding Bitcoin on their balance sheets, we're going to start seeing some stability. That's why Bitcoin is reaching a little bit of support and stability here, is because those companies aren't trading it, right? They're holding it in their treasuries as an asset allocation against inflation and maybe against the dollar and potential future of digital currency happening for more transactions, which would increase the price dramatically. Now let's talk about the biggest issue, and this comes from Elon Musk, the king of Doge. So Elon Musk replied to a tweet here that Satoshi Nakamoto might have 1 million Bitcoins. So that's a lot of money, right? 1 million Bitcoins. So that would be $60 billion worth of Bitcoins. While not part of a major currency pair, Bitcoins can be converted to and from other currencies. Okay, but here's the thing. It's an acceptable percentage. Doge is much more concentrated. So that's the biggest issue, is that Doge is really concentrated. That's what has massive, massive potential to completely destroy everything. In fact, Elon even went to say, if major Dogecoin holders sell most of their coins, it will get my full support because there's too much concentration, and that is the only real issue. I will literally pay money if they just void their accounts. So Dogecoin, what would happen if the major players wanted to sell their coin? Well, let's see how big of an issue this really is. If we go over to bitinfocharts.com, the Dogecoin rich list, everything's public, right? So you can actually see the addresses of the richest people, of the holders, and this one guy right here, if we scroll over here, he owns 36 billion Dogecoins. That is $10 billion in USD. And as a percentage of actual overall market cap, remember, market cap is super important, that's 28%. Almost a third of Dogecoin is owned by this one address. That is sketchy, right? We have one address. Here's the address of the actual guy or girl that owns, or company that owns 36 billion Doge, or $10 billion worth, or 28% of all the coins combined. That's scary. And it's not just one guy, not like Satoshi is one guy with Bitcoin, but 11 holders own another 19%. So together, the top 12 people have 48% of the entire market cap. And it's still pretty bad here. The top 93 people have, or top 100 or so people have 67% of the whole thing. That is incredibly dense concentration. So what would happen if this one guy were to sell his 36 billion Doge? There's no way it would even get fulfilled. It would crash all of the systems, in my opinion. Robinhood already crashed last week from volume. And so I want to make sure that you understand this risk, because I don't see anyone really talking about this. And this is really, really crazy. So when you invest, you should always invest what you can stand to lose, or at least you can stand to see a dramatic decrease in the value of your portfolio. Even in your highest conviction companies, which, I don't think Doge should be one of your highest convictions, because this is more of a play on human psychology than anything else. It's a play on culture. Remember, what's hot today is not hot for long. We live in an incredibly distracted society, and we grab for the next shiny object to fulfill our brain's desire to just find something new. So invest wisely, guys. Consider subscribing, clicking that like button. This is AI, and I'll see you in the next video.